Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab and today's video, which is going to be a foundation review and wear test. And today we're testing the Natasha Denona Face Glow foundation. This one is in the shade number 42 and it does have SPF 15. I will include a demo of me applying the foundation along with check-ins throughout the day so that you can see how the foundation wears on my dry, more mature skin. Just so you know, my skin concerns are fine lines, aging, a little bit of discoloration around the cheeks, and the foundations that I typically love are dewy hydrating foundations. My absolute favorite is the Koh-Gen-Do Aqua Luminous foundation. I absolutely love that foundation. I also like the number 7 Lift and Illuminate foundation. So maybe that'll give you an idea of the types of foundations that I enjoy. So it'll put my review into a little bit more perspective for you. So if you're interested in seeing the review and demo on this foundation, then let's get started. The Natasha Denona Face Glow foundation retails for $42 and it does come in 12 different shades. It comes in a white box, and on the back side you do have information about the ingredients. You do receive 1 fluid ounce and the shelf life is 12 months. The inside of the packaging, it looks like a squeezy tube, but it does have a pump and it's pretty simple and straightforward. There's not much information on the backside. You have the shade number, which I'm shade number 42. Again, you have 1 fluid ounce. It's made in Italy and it will last 12 months. This foundation has 3.5 stars on Sephora.com, but that's only based out of 39 reviews, and so I don't think that's too many reviews, and so I thought that I could contribute my own review on my channel because I've been really curious about this foundation since I saw Stephanie Nicole put it in one of her favorites. According to the description on Sephora.com, this foundation is recommended for all skin types. However, she does recommend that if you are an oily to combo skin type, that you use the foundation with the matching primer. I did purchase the primer as well. This one was $35 and it is the Face Glow primer and it is the Hydrating Underbase. This product has a 12-month shelf life and you also receive 1 ounce of product. The inside packaging is in a pot. It's frosted glass with a white lid. It's very sleek looking. I don't really enjoy products that come into a pot because I don't like to stick my fingers in there. I did use a masking tool, which is a brush by e.l.f. Cosmetics, to scoop some of it out so that I don't have to keep putting my fingers in there. And that worked just fine, even though the product looks a little bit thick when you open it up. The primer did retail for $35 and this one has 4.25 stars on Sephora.com with 26 reviews. Now, interestingly enough, this primer is recommended for dry to normal skin types, and so in the description of the foundation, when it says to use the primer if you're an oily skin type, but yet this primer is for dry skin, it's a little bit confusing. She does say that you should powder after applying the product, so that does make sense, and so maybe that'll make this more appropriate for more oily to combo skin. But again, I just wanted to point out that discrepancy because I found it a little bit confusing. Now, I'm actually doing this intro at the end of the day, so I've already applied the foundation and I've been wearing it throughout the day, and so this will give you some idea of how it progresses. But let's go ahead and get into the application and my check-ins, and I will be back with my final thoughts. I'm going to start with the primer. I don't really like to stick my hands in pots. Here's what that one looks like. So I have this e.l.f. masking tool. I don't know if it's gonna be strong enough to scoop it out because it's a little bit flimsy. Oh yeah, it's fine. So I'm just going to take a really small amount and I'm going to try to apply that. My skin is really drinking it up. It feels cooling and hydrating, but it also feels like a little bit heavy when you first put it on. So I may have actually used a little too much, even though I just grabbed a small amount. So next time I will definitely use less. My face doesn't feel sticky in any way. Like, it just fully absorbed. I mean, my skin is really dry, so it absorbs almost anything anyway. So now we'll move on to the foundation, and I'm going to use about 2 pumps. Okay, so I'll do half a pump. So this is about 3 pumps actually, because the first one was just sort of a half pump. It looks a little bit thick, doesn't it? I expected something a little more runny. I think I'm gonna take a flat foundation brush and paint it on a little bit. I'm going to use this one from Sonia Kashuk and I'm going to paint it on. I'm just pouncing that in with a beauty blender. My skin is really soaking it in, and it blended in so easily, super easily. I think the shade is really good. I picked mine up in the shade number 42. All right, so that is one layer on my right side. I'm going to try the other side with a brush. I'm going to use an IT Cosmetics for Ulta number 101 brush. I think it gives a slightly more full coverage with a brush, which is not surprising. That's usually the case for most foundations. I'm just going to apply the rest of what I had on my dish to the areas that need more coverage. I can see why they call it Face Glow. I actually got matched in store because the Sephora inside Woodfield near me has a Natasha Denona display. It's so exciting. The last time I saw Natasha Denona display was in Las Vegas or in Manhattan when I was visiting. And so I'm glad that Chicago's getting on the map as far as carrying her brand in store. Sorry about the noise. I'm washing clothes and so need to do the laundry. Okay, so here's what it looks like with one layer applied. It is definitely dewy. It doesn't feel sticky on the face, but it does feel wet, so it's definitely a foundation that you would want to set, which I will do that. I like the color match. It is definitely a luminous finish foundation. You can see that my face definitely has a glow to it. It is a very light coverage foundation for sure. You could probably lay it on a little bit more. I used 3 full pumps. Very dewy finish for sure, and it was able to grab onto my nose just fine. It is 12:46. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup. I have a couple more videos to film, so I will be back with a little bit of a check-in shortly. All right, well, it's 5:52 and it's time for my first check-in. I've been filming a few videos. I had some pizza, been doing laundry, and this is where we are. It's been about 4 hours, I think, since my first check-in, and this is what my skin is looking like. I did finish applying my makeup over the Face Glow foundation, and everything applied fine as expected. I had no trouble with bronzer or blush or applying any other complexion products over the foundation. Everything applied just fine. So right off the bat, I have to say that this is definitely a very glowy foundation. I can tell a lot in my forehead area because it is definitely catching the light, or if you know what I mean, it's definitely got a glow. And so if you're oily, you're not going to like this, but you probably knew that already when it was called Face Glow foundation. The color match I think was really good. The one place that I didn't like how it settled was around my nose. I thought that it was getting a little bit cakey around the sides of my nose, and if that happens, I just take a foundation brush. This is my Stila complexion brush, number 33, and I just blend that area, and then it looks fine. Also in my smile lines, I definitely have my typical creasing. I'm just gonna blend that out. Blends out okay. My forehead doesn't look too bad. Usually I get a lot of creasing there, but it doesn't look too bad. All in all, I have to say the foundation is looking okay. I'm not head over heels in love with it at this moment. I think because it doesn't give that much coverage. I don't like a heavy coverage anyway, but it doesn't give me that much coverage to make the price worthwhile, if that makes any sense. I don't really have any complaints other than that I wish it would cover just a little bit more or even out my skin tone just a little bit more. Other than that, it's wearing fine and it's really comfortable on my skin. I think my skin looks fine, but I don't have too much to cover anyway. I just like to even out my complexion, if that makes any sense. Next time I will definitely apply another layer. I only went in with one even layer and I applied a little bit more on my cheekbones. So maybe next time I'll apply a little bit more, but yeah, that's it for this check-in. I'm gonna run off, film another video and do some more laundry. The exciting life. This is what I do on my days off. I'll be back at the end of the day to give you my final thoughts, and for you, that'll be in just a couple of seconds. Alright guys, it's 9:55 p.m. and I've been wearing this foundation for almost 10 hours, I think. Again, I forget what time I finished putting it on, but I think it was around 1 or 12. In any case, I definitely showed you the timestamp when I started. I've given this foundation a run for its money because me and my daughter are doing a little spring cleaning and we needed to visit our storage unit and move some stuff around, including furniture. And so yeah, definitely got a little bit of a workout in. And the foundation is still looking really nice, I would say. I'm gonna bring you guys a little closer. So my skin definitely looks like skin. I don't have that foundation-y look to it. I do like the way the foundation behaved on my forehead. Usually I have creasing going on my forehead line sideways and also here in between my brows where my threes are, but there's not really any foundation that has settled there. I did have that creasing that happened along the side of my nose, but once I blended it out earlier, that hasn't become an issue again. And of course, in my puppet lines, I do have foundation that's settled there. I do feel that my forehead looks and feels a little bit oily, which is something very new for me. I'm definitely not used to that. So I think if you have an oily skin type, you probably will not enjoy this foundation at all. Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit oily, but I don't think it looks that oily. I think it looks pretty healthy and dewy. Again, I would like there to be just a little bit more coverage, but other than that, I think it lasted really well throughout the day. Alright, so as you can see, I definitely gave this one a much longer wear test than I did my first foundation review, which was the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Foundation. I will definitely link that up in the cards if you're interested in checking that out. But as far as this foundation is concerned, I do like it. I think it's a little bit pricey at $42 for the type of coverage that I achieved at least. I applied only a single pump and I layered a little bit more on my cheeks, which are my areas of concern where I have a little bit of discoloration. And I think it's fine. I think it gave me a very nice everyday kind of finish. This is definitely a light to light medium coverage. I wouldn't even call it medium coverage. Your skin will still look like skin, so it's probably a good foundation for the summertime if you're a dry skin type. If you're an oily skin type, this might be a little too luminous for you, so I would definitely check out reviews from people who have more of your skin type, because even I can feel that my skin is definitely feels like a little bit oily. Like it's definitely a new feeling for me. I'm not used to having my foundation feel that way. I did powder just a little bit. I usually powder a little tiny bit so that when I apply more complexion products, they blend well on top. And so I was surprised to feel that, but this is now the 10th hour and I've been wearing the foundation for quite a long time. I do like it. I'm not absolutely in love with it. I prefer my Kogan Do foundation, but I think that for an everyday wear foundation, this will be a nice option to have around. As far as the primer, I will definitely try it with other foundations and see how it does. I'm curious to try it with a more mattifying foundation like the Fenty Beauty foundation or something like that, so I can give a better opinion of it. Now, as far as making the Natasha Denona foundation last, I haven't tried the foundation without the primer to really say, so I will definitely report back and give you more information on this one. It did feel really nice going on, which was so surprising because it's super thick, but my skin drank it right up and it felt really nice afterwards. Actually, I wouldn't say that this is a smoothing primer. I didn't notice that it smoothed out my skin at all or filled in any pores or anything like that. It's not that kind of primer. I think it's purely a hydrating primer and more of a sticky base for your foundation to adhere to. It's not pore filling, so if that's something that you prefer in your primers, then you're probably not gonna like this one. But if you have dry skin, then this might be an interesting one to look into. I did like the shade that I ended up with in the foundation. This was number 42. I was lucky enough to be able to go in store and be color matched, and this one is described as light medium with yellow undertones, and I think that's a very good description for my skin tone. I know that they don't carry Natasha Denona in a lot of stores, and so that's one reason why I hadn't purchased it at first, because I don't like returning things. I think it's very wasteful, and I only return things if I really need to or if it's really bad. And so I didn't want to try a foundation just to have to send it back and forth until I guessed my shade. Now, interestingly enough, when I did have it in my wish list, I did have my correct shade in my wish list, so maybe I'm getting a little bit better at picking out foundation shades online. As far as the shade range, there's only 12 shades, but it spans quite a bit of the spectrum, I think, of our skin tones. The majority are in the medium skin tone, and they have just a few in the lighter skin tones and a few in the darker. But definitely take a look if you're interested. I would love to know your thoughts down below, and if you tried this foundation, let me know what you think of it. I look forward to continue trying it. I don't think it's gonna be a holy grail status at all, but I will definitely finish it and maybe repurchase it somewhere down the line. That's everything for this video. I hope that you did find it helpful. If you have any questions that I didn't touch upon in the video, then please leave those in the comment section down below. I'm happy to try to help you out. If this is your first time to my channel, I'm Yori and I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on all my favorite makeup products. I would love to have you subscribe and join my makeup family. And thank you to those that continue to support my channel. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up so that I know to continue to do these kinds of products. And if you have any recommendations for other foundations that you would like to see, then leave those in the comment section as well. Otherwise, that's everything for me on my end. Back to my spring cleaning. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a lovely day and I will see you again very, very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.